Hello, class. This is Demetrius Wilson, and we are back with Chapter 7, where we're going to discuss marketing strategy. You always have to have a strategy in place. Some companies don't have a strategy in place, and they're, much less successful. Even those that don't have a strategy in place, that is a strategy. Not a great strategy, but nevertheless, it is a strategy. But we want to talk about, what it takes to create a strategy, what it entails, what is the makeup of your mission, what is the makeup of your vision, and how those impact how you move forward as a company. So as always, we will start with our Reading Rainbow section. I love these because it talks about real world businesses. These are actual true life examples that kind of paint a picture in your head and give you a true image of how small business and entrepreneurship works. So this one's about Elegant Touch. So Anita Brusino, the sole proprietor of Elegant Touch, began her career as a mechanical engineer, and that's always a good starting point. She worked in a family's manufacturing business until she and her father left because of too many factions in the company. And I'm sure it was her father's idea for her to get her degree in mechanical as a mechanical engineer due to the type of business that they were in. This provided her with the opportunity to start her own business, something that she had always known in her heart that she wanted to do. And a lot of people have that. You have something itching and feeling in your heart that, you know what, I want to go out on my own. I want to do something. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing it, but at some point you take that leap of faith and get out there and do it. Anita was inspired to open a gift shop by a family friend who had owned her own gift shop. She gave Anita advice on starting her own business, and that is so crucial. An Elegant Touch opened in 1994. Anita has since expanded the business, and it's celebrating the shop's 18th anniversary. That's a long time, with the last 6 years in its larger location. The shop was a warm, lovely, and comfortable, featuring unique gifts for all occasions and specializing in America's handcrafted gift items and gift baskets. Shoppers will also find maternity gifts, items for sweet tooth, specialty foods, seasonal sections. Elegant Fine Touch is a friendly smile from Anita. One thing that you will not find at Elegant Touch is what you find in other gift shops in her market area, right? So they have their own specific niche. When selecting products for her shop, Anita asked vendors whether other stores in the area carry the gift line she is considering, right? And that's a key component. We're already talking about strategy. She's already saying like, okay, I want to find and have the things that nobody else does. So she's very exclusive. She will not carry duplicates. She likes to see new things and follows the trade magazines to help her do that. When asked how she chooses the products to carry, she described the process as instinctive and from the gut. And that in a creative environment, that's good because you have some type of control over what your members or your customers are seeing and have the availability to buy and purchase. And if you know them best and it's smaller, it really does work. Anita describes her customer demographics as mostly women between 30 and 70 years old, married and established with a home. All right, because they're going to have the opportunity and availability and the space to, have these type of hobbies. Because many of her customers are repeat customers, the reason for fresh products is clear, right? Because people are coming back and buying new things. A stale product line is not something that she can afford. Her pricing strategy is consistent with common practice in the industry, but many of her customers have commented that she delivers very high value for the prices that she charges. And sometimes people are okay with paying a little bit more if they're getting what they're looking for. She is not interested in selling online because she does not want to expand any further, right? And people, these days you always wonder, why wouldn't you want to expand online? Why wouldn't you want to expand further? But some people they just want to keep it to the brick and mortar function. Um, she said that she does not want to expand any further and she's a nice comfort level and she does not want to deal with additional inventory implications or the need to hire additional employees. right? So now we're talking strategy and we're talking about the money that you pay out as a company. I said, hey, you know what, we're doing good with these employees that we have, so let's kind of just stick with it from right there. As a result, the Elegant Touch website is for basic information only. In promoting Elegant Touch, Anita says that the word of mouth works the best. She advertises in the local paper occasionally, supports local events, and is preparing for her first email blast. She is exploring a Facebook presence, but is not yet convinced that it will be of much value to her business. Right. So this is one of the holdouts that don't do social media, don't do social media marketing, don't want to be online selling goods and services. But most if not all companies are headed and moved in that direction. So, like all small businesses, Elegant Touch has been impacted by the ups and downs in the economy, with sometimes being tougher than others. Because Anita has only two part-time employees, she has not been faced with employee layoffs that have hit other small companies, and that's crucial, right? We don't want to get 10 people in here and then have to lay off 8 because we only truly need 2. Let's see if we can make do with these 2. When asked what keeps her going in the rough times, she answered, "You have to love it," and that goes back to that passion in terms of what you're doing. Just walk into her gift shop and you will see clearly that she does. Except for the content of CheshirePatch.com, all information is based on an interview with Anita. So that's why I said I really like those stories because they're interviews with the actual people, real life experience, and it's really relative to what we're looking at and what we're going over in the chapter for this week. So as we talk about the importance of marketing strategy, we'll give you a few learning objectives that you want to just keep in the back of your mind as you listen to the lecture and as well as when you read the textbook. So number one, I want you to understand how marketing for small businesses differs from marketing for big business, right? There is a difference. Big business means big pockets. To have big, advertising budgets and marketing budgets. Smaller business, you have to get creative. Number two, you want to understand the most significant risk factor facing small businesses. And a lot of times that's going to be like the competition, right? That's going to be, it's like I say, it's easier to get a smaller business out of business than it is a larger business because, they'll have the money and the funds to kind of fight the different types of onslaughts and attacks that you see here and there. And number three, explain marketing strategy and why it is so important for small businesses. Small business marketing and big business marketing is not the same, right? And some people think it's the same. They're referenced in the same class, but it is definitely not the same. Basic marketing principles that guide both are the same, but there are important differences with respect to scope and budget. And, just as you may imagine, the bigger company has the bigger budget, the smaller company has a smaller budget. There are also risk factors and areas of opportunity. A lot of times, if something fails at a larger company, it's okay because they can just bounce back and move from there. But if something fails at a smaller company, then you could be in pretty big trouble. Small businesses cannot compete with the marketing budgets of big companies, and that's just plain and simple. As a result, small businesses do not have the luxury of large staffs and staying power that come with high profits. There's little room for error, and failed strategies can lead to ruin. Right, so there's not a lot of room for error. Right, if Walmart puts out a bad product, so what? We got thousands and thousands and millions of other products that are out here. But if you put out one product and there's some issues with that one product, you as a company may not ever recover from that. Small business marketing strategies, they have to be more targeted, cost effective, and more elaborately planned as to minimize the losses in case the strategy fails. And here's the thing: no matter how much you plan, I mentioned that in the other class for project management, proper planning prevents poor performance. But no matter how much you plan, something inevitably will happen. It's no smooth road all the way to success. It's always something like they say. Mike Tyson says everybody has a game plan until they get hit in the mouth, and that's the proverbial way in business. When you get hit in the mouth in business, like what do you do? How do you react, and how do you go from there? Competition is most significant risk factor facing small business. Trying to eliminate an established brand takes a lot of work. but it is an overnight job to wipe out a small business, right? They can get wiped out just like that. Competition is huge threat for small business, right? So it's always interesting to see when the bigger companies kind of duke it out and go. And I'll give you a perfect example. Every time, for those of you who are old enough to know Circuit City, every time you saw Circuit City, you would see a Best Buy pop up, and they have much better colors. And we'll talk about that in product design a little bit later. And they were just targeting, hey, we're gonna push them, to the brink, and we're gonna push them towards going out of business. Um, you know, and that wasn't a small company; it was a large company, and they wrote books about Circuit City and how great they were, right? But things change and things move and things evolve, and as we all have to be cognizant of that. Small business should be very knowledgeable about their competition to deal with them effectively, right? You have to know who they are, know what their prices are, and know what they're doing. I'm sure they're spying on you just like you're looking at what they're doing. So small businesses have to be very knowledgeable about the competition. There are opportunity areas for small businesses. They're also very different from those of big businesses. Small business can take advantage of niche marketing and local needs and wants. They're much better and able to emphasize a personal touch, one-on-one interactions, and market real time in ways that cannot be matched by big business because they're not right there. They're not on the ground level, able to make a decision and make a change. Smaller can actually end up being more powerful. I'm sure people have seen that. Smaller companies have run into different contracts and got different opportunities just because they are a smaller business and things have worked out great. A marketing strategy involves selecting one or more target markets, deciding how to differentiate and position the product or service, right? So you want to learn how to say, okay, what sets my product or service apart from everybody else? And you want to create and maintain a marketing mix that will hopefully prove successful with the selected target markets, all within the context of marketing objectives, right? So, what are your objectives? So, objectives is like a sprint. Goal is like the marathon, right? You got a lot of objectives that lead up to that goal. Marketing objectives are what a company wants to accomplish with its marketing strategy. Strategy is not a wish list, right? This is not what we wish for. A set of goals, mission statement, or any litany of objectives, right? A marketing strategy is a clear, right? And the key point is clear explanation of how you are going to get there, not where or what there is, right? It's just how are you going to get there. An effective marketing strategy is a concise explanation of your stated plan of execution to reach your objectives. Marketing without strategy is the noise before failure. And that's a great quote. Marketing without strategy, like if you're void of strategy, is a noise before failure because it is inevitably coming if you are not planning. So a few key takeaways for that section: small business marketing and big business marketing are not the same, right? They need to be handled differently. Most significant risk factors facing small business is competition. It is important for a small business to have a marketing strategy so that it's better positioned to choose among their options. And an effective marketing strategy is a concise explanation of a business's stated plan of execution to reach its objectives, right? Marketing without strategy is a noise before failure, right? So you always have to continue to remember that that noise that you hear, that's what happens, immediately prior to failure. So those are the key takeaways that I want you guys to kind of, make sure that you know and understand. If you don't, then that means you can go back in the lecture or go back in the textbook and figure it out from there. So then we go on to the marketing strategy process, and that's what the whole chapter is out about. It's really about marketing strategy. So considerations of marketing strategy are twofold. So number one, to modify or tweak marketing efforts already in place, right? So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Number two, to add products or services as the business evolves, right? So as things evolve and things change, and company gets bigger and better, and you see what consumers really want, right? You want to give the people what they want. The marketing strategy process is listed in your textbook, but number one, you have your company vision. So where do we see the business going? And then you trickle down to the company mission. Why does our business exist? Or why does it exist? It exists to do this. Marketing objectives. What do we want to accomplish with our marketing strategy? And then marketing strategies. How will we accomplish our marketing objectives? And so you see how those are all aligned. It shows a great diagram in the textbook, how they're all aligned and are all pointing in the same direction, which is, where you get that success from. And it's interesting because in the business environment, it used to be KPI, so the key product initiatives. But now everything is shifted to OKRs, or objectives and key results. And I think Google probably prompted that big shift, as they do most others will. And it's interesting to kind of see the difference between the two. I think it does emphasize sprints a lot more, as opposed to just, hey, here's where we're at A, and here's where we need to be Z. Right? There is some in between there, and you really do have to address the in between. So the company vision, where do we see the business going? Company mission, why does our business exist? Marketing objectives, what do we want to accomplish with our marketing strategy, right? What do we want to do? What do we want to get done? And then marketing strategies, how will we accomplish our marketing objectives, right? So, how do we actually accomplish, what we're setting out to do? The vision statement tries to articulate the long-term purpose, right? And that's the key word, the long-term purpose of an idealized notion of what a business hopes to become. Should coincide with the founder's goals of the business, stating what the founder ultimately envisions the business to be, right? So you have to basically take what that person sees in their head and then recreate it through the vision that they want to realize from there. Closely related is the mission statement. Looks to articulate the more fundamental nature of business. Should be developed from the customer's perspective, be consistent with the vision, and answer 3 questions, right? So you got 3 questions are super important. What do we do? How do we do it? And for whom do we do it, right? So what do we do? How do we do it? And for whom do we do it, right? Those all should come pretty quickly after you establish and release the vision and mission statement. So here's some examples. Vision statement: within the next 5 years, MetroManage.com will become a leading provider in the management software to North America small business by providing customizable, user-friendly software scaled to small business needs. Right. The mission statement: Studio 67 is a great place to eat, combining intriguing atmosphere with excellent, interesting food that is always very good for the people who eat there. We want fair profit for the owners and a rewarding place to work for the employees, right? A very rewarding place to work is something that, some people debate. And you see it all the time out there. Like when you look for a job, I always suggest people go to Glassdoor and make sure you kind of see from the other side what the company is about and what they're doing. And it gives you a really good perspective in terms of making decisions. Marketing objectives are what the company wants to accomplish with this marketing. Simple, right? If it's simple, keep it simple. They lay the groundwork for formulating the marketing strategy. Although formulated in a variety of ways, their achievement should lead to sales. And ultimately, that's what you're looking for. You're not doing this marketing and everything else not to get sales. The creation of marketing objectives is one of the most critical steps a business will take. A company needs to know as precisely as possible what it wants to achieve before allocating any resources to the marketing effort, right? So what things do we need to shore up and fix prior to that? One thing that you'll see throughout all, and you probably have already seen it before through all business textbooks, you want to talk about SMART goals, right? So marketing objectives should be SMART, like in all caps. And SMART means specific, right? Measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based, right? So you want to make sure that your objectives, that you're able to quantify those objectives as opposed to just having them just kind of out there. It's been recommended that small businesses limit the number of objectives to a maximum of 3 or 4. If you have fewer than 2 objectives, you aren't growing your business like you should be in order to keep up with the market. And having more than 4 objectives will divide your attention, and this may result in lackluster showing or on each objective and no big success, right? So they say, um, they talk about master of a lot. Oh no, I'm sorry. You know, they say a jack of all trades and a master of none. Right? So jack of all trade knows how to do a lot of different things, but they're not a master in any specific area, and that's what that's referring to. So jack of all trade, master of none, and that's not necessarily what you want to be. You want to be proficient at everything, but you do want to be a master, in terms of that, or master the skills that have to do with certain specific areas. So key takeaways for that part: marketing strategy process consists of company vision, company mission, marketing objectives, and the marketing strategy itself. The company vision, where do we see the business going, right? So these are like translations. The company mission, why does our business exist? Marketing objectives, what do you want to accomplish with our marketing strategy? Marketing strategy, how will we accomplish our marketing objectives? Marketing objectives should be SMART, right? I just said, the acronym for that. So, you want to make sure you keep things simple and keep those goals. You want to keep them smart, right? You want to make sure that you can measure things, make sure that they're realistic. You want to make sure that those things are the way that they should be. So again, it's specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time based, right? And it says all that in your textbook as well. Small businesses should limit the number of objectives to 3 or 4 to increase the chances that they will be achieved, right? You don't want to just say, "Hey, we got 100 objectives," right? And you don't achieve any of them. E-marketing objectives must be included with traditional marketing objectives. That's a must these days. And e-marketing and traditional marketing should be integrated to create seamless marketing strategies and tactics, right? So you always want, as a company, you always want to have one voice. So that one voice should be consistent and should be the same. You have market segmentation, dividing a market into relatively homogeneous subgroups that behave much the same in the way of the marketplace. Is necessary precursor to selecting a target market or target markets. And marketing research, I remember very vividly my marketing research class in college. And marketing research can help the small business identify and refine the segments that offers the greatest opportunities, right? So you want to say, hey, you want to purchase this club, but you want to find the greatest opportunity that's out there. I want to sell something for 20 million, it's worth 60. So part of that process will be identifying segments that meet the requirement, right? So if you look at a textbook, it tells you a lot about measurability and sustainability. And that's that those are so important when you want to measure the impact of what you're doing, and then you want to look at sustainability. How long are you able to hold on, and hopefully become very, very successful. So for measurability, it is easy to identify and estimate the size of a segment. The small business that moves forward without a clear definition of its market segments is working blind. Intuition can only go so far, right? So intuition, motherwit, all those things, like they can only go so far. You want to make sure that you're measuring and having some actual factual specifics in order to make some of these decisions. Sustainability is a second is a large segment and profitable enough to justify an investment, right? So company needs to sustain, right? You stand it up, but they need to sustain. Small businesses may not require a huge number of customers to be profitable, but there should be enough people interested in the product or the service being offered to make operations worthwhile, right? So it's always about that too. You want to make sure that things are worthwhile when you're doing them, or what is the purpose for actually doing so. So stability, accessibility, actionability, and a differential response. Those are some of the key terms that I want you to make sure that you are fully aware of. So stability has to do with consumer preferences. Are they stable over time, or are they, we only sell in California, now they're gone to Michigan. Accessibility, can a business communicate with and reach the segment? right? If you're looking for that 18 to 25 segment, and you're on the TV, maybe you're missing out on that. Um, Actionability is a small business capable of designing an effective marketing program that can serve the chosen market segment. And there was a small manufacturer of low price cigarettes in Virginia that found it difficult to compete with the bigger brands, and other established the lower priced brands, um, such as Bailey's. The manufacturer's solution was to sell to Russia, where "Made in Virginia, USA" worked very well with customers. And then you have your differential response, the extent to which market segments are easily distinguished from each other and respond differently. Respond differently to the company. Um, the selection of market or target markets will be based on the segments that have been identified. So you have to pinpoint and say this is the direction that we're going. You can't just start driving a car without any gas. And you want to put some gas in and say this is my target. This is where I want to be. Punch it into your GPS. Selecting the target market should be guided by several considerations. Financial condition of the firm, right? Limited resources may dictate the selection of only one target market. Whether the competition is ignoring smaller segments, and that can always be true because you can make a lot of money from these smaller segments. Is a market new to the firm, right? Is this brand new to the people who purchase a firm, but it's quite possible it's not very new to the people who are already working there. Specific need or want. Does the proposed target market have a specific need or want of the product or service, right? So you have to think about that. Sometimes people buy products and services and they don't necessarily need them, right? You have to be specific about that. You also have the ability to buy. Does the proposed target market have the responses to buy the product or the service, or are they just, kind of window shopping on you? And then willingness to buy. Is the proposed target market willing to buy the product or services, right? If nobody's willing to buy, you're not going to make or turn a profit. Then choosing the right target market is critical, part of the marketing strategy of a small business. The target market should be the best match for a company's products and services, thus helping to maximize the efficiency and effectiveness of its marketing efforts, right? So you always want to see how you can fine tune things. If a small business wants to go with a niche market, the same considerations apply. A niche market is small. It's more narrowly defined market, right? So it's something that you're just running into, you know, to get or to purchase, right? And you're getting it from this specific store because that's their niche. That's what they do. It's not being served as well as mainstream products or service marketers. The great advantage of pursuing a niche market is that you are likely to be there alone, right? Other small businesses may not be aware of your particular niche, and large businesses won't want to bother with it, right? They don't, they just don't care because it's not big enough. It's a small dog nipping at their ankle, but not necessarily, giving a bite that they can actually recognize and see. Small businesses should be working towards competitive advantage, and that's very, very important. Also on the test or the quiz, the ability to perform in one or more ways that competitors cannot or will not match, right? I'm not willing to match that. I'm not willing to do what it takes to match what you guys are doing there. One way to uncover the differentiation possibilities is to help examine customer experience with the product or serve by asking a few questions, right? So when you ask those questions, right, you want to get these qualifying answers. So here are some of the questions that you can use. So how do people become aware of their needs for a product or service? How do customers find a company's offering? How do customers make their final selection? How do consumers order and purchase the product or service? What happens when the product or service is delivered? How is the product installed? How is the product or the service paid for? How is the product stored? And then is a product how is a product moved around, right? Does it go from this depot to to Target truck, right? So you have to know and understand all of those things and all of those items. So we'll probably wrap it up right there. Had a few more things, but didn't quite get to it under 30 minutes, and that's okay because it's all listed right there in your textbook. So remember, this is chapter 7. Make sure that you watch well, if you're watching this, you're watching the chapter 7 lecture. Make sure that you watch all 3 supplemental videos. The last one that's on social media is really, really good. I know it's kind of long, but it is really good because I know there's some of you guys out there that are already, attempting to and already are selling things. So that's always, always a good thing to kind of know and understand. It's very, very helpful. Like I said, that video is probably about 20-some minutes long, but it's good. It's a really good video. So make sure that you watch the lecture, watch the videos, take the quiz, and make sure that you post something in the discussion so I can correspond back and forth with you in regards to your choices, your decisions, and what you think about that particular assignment. On those we really want to, look over exactly what you're saying, see if we can provide some advice in terms of small business and entrepreneurship, and move forward from there. So that's it for chapter 7. Remember, chapter 8 is going to be a test, right? So that's next week, and it's going to be, so remember, first test was chapters 1, 2, 3, 4. Second test is chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that should be it. We should all be well prepared for the test. If not, send me an email, let me know. I'll be glad to assist. From there. But otherwise, hopefully you guys all have a good day. Have a great week. Happy new week, and let's make the best of it. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.